Alright, so as a follow-up to my last video, what I think I'm going to do is maybe start maybe a series or something of kind of me expressing various opinions on various issues. And so in my last video, I talked about kind of just philosophy from kind of over my life and how it's changed and whatnot. And in the comments of that video, I ended up debating with a few people, and you guys should certainly go back and read those. But I kind of want to go over maybe for this video one little thing I've noticed in terms of people and how they in today's society like to use an excuse of some kind of mental disability, mental problem, handicap that they have for why they fail either in RuneScape, in life, or whatever. But I see this all the time, and it really annoys me. Where people say that they have ADHD, they have autism, they have Asperger's, they're bipolar, any of these excuses. They're dyslexic, and they use these excuses of like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm acting this way. I'm sorry, I can't spell. I'm sorry, I can't do this or that. Because I have some kind of medical problem. I have some kind of biological problem, some kind of genetic problem, some problem which is blaming something outside of their control, and they're not taking personal responsibility. They're saying that there is a biological cap or some extra biological difficulty that they have to face that other people don't have to face, and that this is why they fail, and you need to accept this excuse and don't blame me, is what they say. Don't blame me for why I'm failing. It's not my fault, and this is kind of what I want to go on about today, because I think it's just bull. I just think it's complete bull. Um, we we don't understand how the brain works. We pretend we do. Psychologists pretend they do. Psychiatrists, whatnot, they pretend they do. We don't understand how the brain works. We don't understand human behavior. We can't adequately study it. We can't do controlled variables. And um, excuse me one moment. Forgot to eat some energy potions. Drink some energy potions. So we can't do these, and so the social sciences in general, which study human behavior, they are not very reliable. That's why they're known as the soft sciences. They're not as reliable as the hard sciences. And then when you get into the area of medicine and medical things, then you're not even in science anymore, because now you're into the whole prescribing of um, solutions to problems. Let me not waste more ticks. Um, so just quick sidetrack. I'm focusing my clicks on the bottom and not up top, as usually I would go. Anyways, so I've issues with modern health, mental health, in terms of how it's perceived today in today's society. But it seems that lately it's become popular for people to pretend that they're mentally disabled because they want to use this as an excuse, as a crutch, to not take personal responsibility. And so, if you're not mentally disabled, if you don't have a medical issue wrong with you, and you fail anyway, well then that's on you. That's your fault. And a lot of people don't want to have this. They don't want it to be their fault. So they're attracted to this diagnosis. They seek it out if they can too, and they use it as kind of like a trophy in a way. Like it's like, hey, I've got this problem, and it seems like lately everybody seems to have this problem. Everybody seems to be mentally disabled in some fashion, and it's so popular now. But I mean, I remember growing up, it used to be very unpopular. Very oh, you don't want to be the retarded, but now everybody wants to be retarded. So it's just funny. But I mean, ultimately, I look at my whole RuneScape stuff. I've done a lot in RuneScape. I've got a lot of achievements in the game, and I've seen a long history of people, even within RuneScape, saying, "Oh, like if I try to encourage them to go for big goals, like hey, just 200 more agility," uh, and they're like, "Oh, that's too boring for me. I can't do that. I would just die of boredom." And I don't see how you can do that. And I think it's nonsense. I've helped inspire many people to go for it. I think anyone is fully capable of going for it. I honestly think anyone is fully capable of becoming a big player in RuneScape for anything, generating any kind of big success. And I mean, I created my own niche for myself. Other people do overall. I mean, I did agility, and then actually I ended up doing overall for a bit. But I mean, anyone can really generate their own area. They just kind of find their calling. They come into they find that little segment of the game. You do Iron Man, you do whatever. You do something unique and special, and you can make a name for yourself. And you do something, a unique skilling achievement. And I'm all for encouraging that as much as possible. And a lot of that same mindset where anything is possible there really applies to real life, especially if you live in a country like America where anything truly is possible and you don't have all of the big government restrictions holding you back that you might have in other countries. And I've basically applied a lot of the same mindsets that I had in RuneScape that helped me get as far as I did in RuneScape, and I applied that to real world. And it worked. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. It works. You can succeed. The American dream is possible. You just have to make the right life decisions, and you just need to do the right things, and you can succeed. I mean, the biggest thing I've seen on RuneScape is that players who hang around other top players, who let themselves be influenced by top players and whatnot, they end up being more successful within RuneScape than players who listen to news, who let themselves be influenced by noobs. Basically, whoever you hang around with tend to influence you. A lot of basically all the top players I know of used to hang around top players when they were noobs, and they became that. They emulated them, and you don't accept this notion where, oh, this is out of my reach. That hey, what they have is out of my reach. No, I just copy what they do. And so when you look at the real world and you look at people who take these excuses and say, oh, I can't achieve this. I can't achieve ABC because there's some invisible ceiling holding me back, and it's out of my control. People who believe in that end up making it happen. It's self-fulfilling, simply by their belief in that. Just even by their belief that if you believe that you are dyslexic and that you cannot learn to read or write no matter how much you tried, you're not going to try to learn to read and write. You're not going to bother because you're not. How can you improve? How can you prove it? It's beyond your capabilities in your head, right? So why even bother trying? And then that ends up further creating the cycle of, hey, well, okay, well, now I'm not going to be able to read and write very well, and so, and you just live with that. But that's a self-imposed failure. That's not something that's actually caused by your biology. I've seen no evidence whatsoever that people are actually this incompetent. They just want to have this excuse that they are. So I know a lot of people like to try to call me autistic and whatnot, or I don't know. I just think it's baloney. You don't need some kind of like it's weird. Like in the real world, you need this mental disorder as an excuse for your failure. But then in like RuneScape, it's the complete opposite in a way, because you need this. You supposedly need a mental disorder in order to be successful within RuneScape, because only somebody that is mentally disabled in some fashion would be able to handle doing this much agility or something like that. Which is also nonsense. You like listening to music? I like listening to music. Well, you probably listen to music for a long time, right? Does that bore you? Probably not. Well, I just sit on my computer, listen to music all day, and I barely notice the agility in the background. I mean, that's really what it is. There's nothing special to it. I've seen nowhere that certain individuals are incapable of doing this much agility. I've seen nothing of the sort. I mean, all you gotta do is you gotta go out and you gotta just learn the motivation to do it. A lot of it is just learned. Everything is just learned behavior. I mean, even ADHD and all that stuff. It's just it's either just personality trait or learned behavior, whatever, but it's not something that is some kind of mental disorder, and it's just very frustrating to hear people talk about it like that, and people want to be viewed as victims. Like, I don't know. I don't know why people want to be viewed as victims, but they want to be viewed as victims. They don't want to be viewed as victims of bad luck, and I guess it's just because they don't want to face personal responsibility. I think that's the biggest thing that society these days is lacking: personal responsibility. Today, everybody wants to blame everybody else or factors out something true. No one wants to take personal responsibility. So, anyways, that's this video. So, hope you enjoyed it. Hope I can help motivate you to succeed, either in escape or in real life or whatnot. But I just want to get that out there, and I'll see you guys in my next video.